You can't create a particle accelerator to disprove creation.
Welcome to Happy Chaos.
Welcome to Happy Chaos.
Episode.
I was making sure I had my mic. What is episode? 23.
23.
6, 7.
23.
Listen, I've watched the videos about, because I'm that age that I've now had to watch YouTube videos about what young people are saying and why they're saying it.
Well, because we were walking the beach on vacation last week.
No, I heard it before that.
Oh, I have never.
No,
and our kids are behind us going, 6, 7, 6, 7. And I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, so our son-in-law, Nathan, we were playing volleyball and he did it. He was like 6, 7. And that was the first time I heard it. And I was like, what is he saying? And I just thought he was being typical, like silly Nathan. You know, I thought he was being funny. And he was, I mean, to a degree, but like then I heard it again. So for me, like I caught on the first time I remember catching on to somebody saying it was Nathan, but then I've definitely heard the kids say it like when we were walking the beach. And by the way, we just got back from vacation. So,
and you would be able to see our wonderful tans, but we're a little sun.
Here in Kentucky.
And we also got our
new Caruso shirts. So I got...
and y'all need Jesus.
Y'all need some Jesus.
Oh, gosh.
I think you need all.
Oh, for sure.
I just think you just need Jesus.
I agree.
I agree. But I think it's supposed to look like the Yale. Isn't that what it's supposed to look like? Kind of like the Yale.
Maybe.
It's like kind of I don't know if a parody is the right word.
Yeah, maybe.
Play on. It's like like I've got the one that looks like the Bass Pro Shop, but it says Fishers of Men. I think that's what that was supposed to kind of look like.
Could be.
I think that's the design. I think you could
be right.
Yeah. Anyways, not that we were paid to wear these in our podcast. We really are just a little chilly down here, and so we're wearing our Caruso shirts. But if you do want them, we'll put a link in the description or somewhere.
And you'll get 15% off just because you write Happy Chaos in the code.
That's true. Yeah. Somebody said to me yesterday, they said, "Oh, but the t-shirts were so expensive at the concert." Just in case you were there, because I know several of you that watch this were there. We had to match the price. Caruso donated all of those. They were totally given. We didn't pay Caruso anything for
Not
those.
a dime.
They were really wonderful to us, and they gave us all of those to sell. We were able to raise almost $10,000 for our school.
With the Caruso shirts, hats, and cups.
Yeah, that they sent us, and then we sold. But at the concert, we were under a rider from one of the artists that we could not sell merchandise for less than what they sold their merchandise for. So it had nothing to do with Caruso's pricing. So don't judge. I told him yesterday, I was like, don't judge all of Caruso on
the price. What you should do is think about the fact that they donated $10,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
Without thinking twice about it, without questioning. I mean, $10,000. They love our mission.
Yeah. And, just a real quick note on that. They actually didn't really that was when we first got to know them as a company, like as we were first starting to work with them. And so, they didn't really know us and they still jumped in and were willing to help. And so that was just really awesome. So anyways, if you were at the concert and like, oh, those shirts are so expensive, they're not as expensive as they were at the concert. That was just because it was the concert and we had to price them at the same price as the artist had under their merchandise tents. Anyways, if you weren't at the concert and you're somewhere far away and you're like, what in the world are you talking about? Sorry, that's it. I just gave you the best explanation. We had to sell them for like $35. I think was it 35? So. Yeah, I think it was like $35, but that's because that's what the other tables had those t-shirts marked at. So anyways, we have a really special episode today. Really special episode. It is the conspiracy episode. We have referenced this a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're as excited as I am.
I was so excited.
I like fun episodes. I mean, I like our serious episodes, but I like
fun ones.
I like fun episodes where we get to like tell it all.
I agree. And usually it's tell it all on me, but That's okay.
Well, and it starts early. It starts early, as I want to tell you all why we're here. Like, why are we to the point of conspiracy theories? And it's not just me. It's some of Kelly.
It's a lot, me.
When you blend a family, you blend everything. And so Kelly came in to this relationship with a belief, and I'm not sure that I share this belief. I will tell you that she wins me over sometimes. That I'm like, oh, that is very questionable, but I'm still not there.
But he's not against it either.
I'm not. I'm totally.
If someone point blank looked at you today and said, "Do you believe 100% for sure in the moon landing?"
Yeah, we're not talking about the Lord here. Just when I say this, to be clear, but I would say I'm agnostic. I don't know. I don't know what I believe about the moon landing. I will say that I definitely lean more towards it would have been harder to fake than it is to make happen. But I actually have a new thought about that too. But we'll talk about it here in a little bit.
Yeah.
We have
lots to say.
Yeah, we have kind of like three main things we're going to talk about with this. And it should just be fun and lighthearted. And you guys can share with us your conspiracy theories that you ascribe to or that you like to look into. Or in my case, one of them that we'll talk about today, I'm forced into often. I actually think it's really dumb, but I love it.
And I don't believe this one.
But I love it. Like, and I love to mess with the kids. And so I'll share a little bit of that. So it's not totally pointless that we came up with this. Like, we really did come into this relationship. This whole podcast, if you're new to this, is Kelly's a widow. I'm a widower. Both lost our spouses in 2021. Found each other. The Lord led us together. We got married just
in December.
10 months.
Well, we're going
9 months ago.
9.5.
Yeah, 9 months ago we got married. So December, we got married in December of 24. And so not even married a year yet. And we came into the relationship. I have 6 children that I brought into the relationship. Kelly had 3 children she brought into the relationship. So together we now have 9 children in a big blended family. And so, there's this happy chaos happening all around us. That's our dubbed word for it. And in blending that, we get to come together with all of our wacky, kooky beliefs about
everything.
Other things, yeah. Kelly's is the moon landing. Another one that I want to talk to you guys about is the Mandela Effect. It's actually my favorite because I love how
the government's trying to play us.
That's what I think, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I don't love that. Like, I don't love that they're trying to play us, but I love to watch people get real heated about it. And
that's the thing with us. We don't get heated about any of this stuff as far as Mandela or conspiracy. Now, if I was talking with our son,
well, I'm going to talk about that. Like,
he gets heated. I don't. I'm like, listen, I don't care if you believe in it. Like, it's not going to make me lose sleep at night. But he cares that I don't believe in the moon landing. He is like,
he does.
Bent.
I just realized I forgot my water. It's way over there.
Would you like me to get it?
Are you willing?
I'm willing.
Please. Why did you say it with an accent?
I don't
know. Look, thank you.
You're welcome.
Such a servant's heart. Okay.
You're easy to serve, my love.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we're getting to this episode, but we first have something that Kelly loves to do. Oh, yes. It's questionable for me whether anybody really enjoys this besides Kelly, but it's not true.
They chimed in. They just don't want me to make a full episode on it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants a full episode. No. But it's Kelly's favorite part, and so
and Justin has a song to sing for it.
Yeah, it's you have 3 comments to read. We'll put it to a melody. You can have 3 comments.
Oh.
You can have 3 comments.
Oh, that works for me, y'all. That works for me.
Well, I have to contain her because otherwise we'll spend an hour reading comments, and
this is true.
I feel like you're okay with this. Actually, I feel like you're okay with the 3 comments.
I'm okay. Yeah, I can do this.
You went with newest. That's an interesting.
No, I didn't mean to. Did I? I meant to do all.
She went to newest comments. I was like, that's an interesting strategy.
No.
Did you all know on Facebook that there's a little drop down menu that said, by the way, all these comments are coming from Facebook because that's where we get the most of them. We try to watch Spotify and the other ones, but Facebook's.
And because the newest thing, I do the newest thing when we have tons of comments coming in from our.
Yeah, for sure, I will. But if you don't hit all, if you don't go up and hit that drop down menu, hit all, it'll hide some of the comments for random reasons.
Dumb.
I don't know why Facebook decides I don't need to see comments on my own videos.
So dumb.
But they're like, no, you don't need to see those today.
Maybe we'll dive into that.
And sometimes it says all. It'll say like 10 comments, and I'll click on all, and it won't show me any.
I know.
It shows no comments, and so
it's super strange.
Yeah, and I just feel like Facebook's dictating what I can do and what I can't do. And
they're definitely trying.
Anyways, all right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Hit me with it.
Casey Rogers. Now remember, last episode was school episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we're talking about some of the school things.
Yeah.
All right.
She said, as a parent with kids at Salt and Light Academy, I'm so thankful for the school. It's been a true blessing to our family. I will never stop sharing about it. God is on the move for sure, and I am totally looking forward to the next episode.
Woo!
She's all about the conspiracy with us.
Yeah.
So.
Casey comes to church with us, and I got to talk with her for the first time. Obviously I talk to her from the stage often, but I got to talk to her and her brother like one-on-one for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
And that was, well, first of all, that was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
But we got to talking about some of these conspiracies and said we might do it as an episode. And she was pretty excited.
Yeah.
So Casey,
rightfully so.
We're excited with you. And here we are. We're doing it. So, yeah. All right.
Rochelle Livaday.
Got it.
That's what I'm talking about. I kind of want to mispronounce it just because I like to.
I
don't know if she'd appreciate that, though.
I don't know if she would appreciate it either, but.
Because I love saying Lavadius. I'm sorry, Rochelle.
Ignorance is bliss.
What an incredible vision. I'm so inspired by the heart behind Salt and Light Academy. May it be a shining example of what's possible when we prioritize Christ-centered education.
Amen. Yep. Thank you for that.
I just realized I stole your comment. Now it's time for you to pick one. You get to pick the third one. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Okay.
What are you going to do?
What is it? Well, I was reading this. Sorry, y'all. I'm like reading as we go. Okay. Let me, Jody Ballard, just because you said this, she said, oh my goodness, happy chaos with Justin and Kelly Walker. You guys read my comment. Yeah. Now I'm reading it a second time. That's 2 in a row. My heart is happy. Thank you so much. My heart is happy. When I go to visit my dad, I'll replay the message to him. Yes, I teared up, but your comments made me more at peace, and I'm super excited about the new school at your church. I'm not sure how I found you guys online, but I'm very happy and grateful I did. And I watched every episode, like I mentioned to you when you read my comment. Also, my bestie Dan Oliver, who owns Dano's Seasoning.
We have some of those.
Yeah, they're in Louisville. Yeah, lives in Louisville. And I was in Louisville in October of 23, and I so wish that I knew about your church because I would have come to visit. Next time, love you both lots. That's pretty awesome, especially about the Danos. Just like, I don't know why I get excited about that. I watched this guy online that does these card tricks, and he had a comment from the guy that made the Aflac duck, like drew the Aflac duck. And I was so excited about that card trick just because of the Aflac duck thing. I don't even know why. And I feel the same way about the Dano's seasoning. Yeah. It really is good seasoning.
It is good seasoning.
I know a guy that smokes meat, and the only stuff he'll use is Dano's.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. We stuck to 3 comments. Look at us. We are.
I was gonna rapid fire there for a second.
They were long comments though.
But I was like, respect.
Oh, respect.
Respect my husband.
Respect. She is something else, y'all. Okay, here we go. First conspiracy. Do we want to start with this? I think we should. Mandela Effect. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the Mandela Effect? Let's start off with that. Let's start off with what the Mandela Effect is. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to? Can you even read it from there?
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay, all right. You can read it.
The Mandela Effect is when large groups of people remember the same thing incorrectly. It's named after Nelson Mandela because many people around the world swear they remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. He did. Even though he actually passed away in 2013. Psychologists say it's a mix of false memory, pop culture, and our brains filling in the gaps. But to people who know what they saw or heard, know it feels very real. Don't patronize me. Seriously, that's what they're doing, and I'm about to punch them. I'm serious.
Y'all, my sweet Kelly has been ready to fight ever since I called her out on, if y'all follow our stories, one day we're on a walk and she just is lunging behind me at a car that went speeding by. And she's like, don't slow down, man. And I'm like, Kelly, they're going to stop the car. Like, they have brakes. We're going to end up in a fight because you're hollering at them. She's like, good, let them. And ever since then, y'all, the gloves are off. She's ready to go.
I'm ready to fight. I am. Try me.
I don't remember who made the comment on that little short video, and they said, my husband says I'm writing checks I can't cash. But that's Kelly.
You don't think I can cash them?
No, I don't. I think you're going to lean on me to cash that check. That's what I think. And then somebody's going to be like, aren't you the pastor of that church? Okay.
Let me contain this.
Yeah, let's talk about Mandela effects for a second. So as you heard, when a large group of people remember something a certain way. And I have a few more than what we have as some examples here that were given to us when we Google searched it. I have some more than these, but these are some classic ones, and we can talk about these.
Yeah.
But there are some, y'all, like, it's not a matter of like, I'm gonna be willing to die on that hill for a memory that I've got incorrect because the interwebs tell me differently.
We have incorrect.
Right.
It's
so some of these I'm like, man, I mean, maybe it was always that, and I didn't know it. But
they're trying to say Berenstain.
Right. This is one of the most popular ones right now. So here we go. How do you remember? Look at her looking it up. How do you remember the Bears? How do you say it?
Berenstain
Bears. Yeah, the Berenstain Bears. So the.
Oh, they're gonna upset me.
Yeah. Remember the little book, the Berenstain Bears. So most of us live in a world where we remember the Berenstain Bears as that, like at excuse me, let me read that again. Berenstein, Berenstain Bears. But
I wonder if your mom has any of these books.
There's like videos of this, and then other people come back with other videos and say that was doctored or whatever. But supposedly that it was the Berenstain Bears. Berenstain.
This is a load of garbage.
Berenstain Bears rather than Berenstain Bears, or however you want to say it. This is one of those that I don't fully get behind. I'm definitely, like, you definitely feel like you have a memory of who they are and what they are.
100%.
Yeah. The theory goes that they're changing the name of the Berenstain Bears, and we'll talk about in a moment what my thoughts are about why.
And look, Berenstain Bears. I'm going to say it the way it is. Had to double check the spelling because
But what are they showing the spelling as? They're showing it as A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, there's one. Let me give you a second one because I have a few that I want to add to this. So here's another one. Looney Tunes. Remember the show Looney Tunes? This is funny that this is on our list for today because just yesterday we were in the car and I said something. One of our kids was talking about. They were talking about a tumbleweed. Our littlest was talking about a tumbleweed, but she didn't know to call it a tumbleweed, and she was calling it a dust something or dust devil or something. And Kelly says, "Do you mean the Tasmanian devil?" And then our middle daughter our 13-year-old daughter began to say, something about like, no, she's talking about a tumbleweed. She was describing a tumbleweed. But the way she was speaking, I was like, do you not know the Tasmanian devil? And she goes, I don't know what you're saying. That's literally what she said. She's like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what that is. With full genuine heart, she was like, I don't know what that is. And so in the video, I'm just like, Kelly pulls out her phone and I'm going through the Looney Tunes characters. And she didn't, I'm like, Tweety Bird? Nope. She's like, no. And I mean, dead serious. She's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester the Cat? No.
Tweety Bird. Oh, you said that.
Coyote, Roadrunner, nothing. Nope.
Except Bugs Bunny.
The only one she knew was Bugs Bunny. And then she doesn't even know anything about him. She just was like, I just know he's a bunny. Like that's all she knew. I feel like Grandpa who grew up in the 1930s, like referencing Mighty Mouse or something,
Yeah.
I am just blown away that she doesn't know Looney Tunes.
People were harsh on you. They said you failed.
They did say I failed, yeah. But y'all love to be harsh on me. If Kelly does something, y'all are like, oh, Kelly. But if I do something, y'all are like, stick it to him.
My sweet friend Tina that comes to church after he pushed me in the pond, which, by the way, we've said, I knew he was going to push me in the pond.
You can't tell that
and
from that video.
We got to church, though, and she goes, oh, my sweet Kelly, did he push you in the pond? And I said, he pushed me in the pond. And she got on to him, and it was just the sweetest thing.
Oh, and listen, the best part of everyone getting on to me is everyone getting on to me for Kelly swimming out of the pond behind me. Like, why'd you just leave her? I'm like, I didn't leave her forever, y'all. It was for the video.
Help the girl.
I didn't just go get in there. I think everybody thought I just got in the car and drove off, and you're like crawling out of the pond all wet. I don't know.
That was hilarious.
It was funny. Anyways, Looney Tunes, the part that people don't remember isn't like my daughter not remembering it. It's that they remember it. Now, I do remember this, that it was Looney Tunes. Tunes was Toons, Tunes. But the claim is that Looney Tunes is Looney Tunes, Tunes, like a singing a tune.
Now, I think that they're throwing some real ones in here that actually are the way they're saying just to...
You think Looney Tunes was always...
I can't die on that hill because I don't know. When I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it was Toons, but I'm like, maybe it wasn't. They got me questioning it.
Here's the thing though. It makes sense that it's Looney Tunes, cartoons, Toons.
Very much so.
Because that's the part that's loony. They didn't really sing.
That's a good point.
I mean, I guess they did kind of like have the orchestra music behind things, happening, and maybe that's what they're referencing.
You make a good point.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily remember Looney Tunes. That's not my favorite. I like that one. Don't misunderstand me, but it's not my favorite because I'm like, I don't know. But I want to talk real quick before I read the rest of these and tell you all a theory that is behind this, or maybe I should read them all and then talk about the theory behind it. Okay, let's read it. Let's read the rest of them. Curious George. Did Curious George have a tail?
Yes.
You can leave that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Curious George totally had a tail.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not, this is one that I go, I can't get behind.
I'm telling you, I can picture the books right now.
Well, you're going to look, I mean, that's the whole theory is that they're changing. There's something changing. So you're going to look up pictures. He's not going to have a tail because you're looking on the interwebs. You're going to have to go find an old book that he's got a tail. Then you have to ask the question, why would it change? Why would someone change that?
These people are going to get on my last nerve.
All right, let me do the next ones. Let me keep going. Fruit of the Loom. Y'all remember Fruit of the Loom, the underwear and t-shirt company?
Yes.
Did they have a cornucopia in their logo? The thing that holds all the fruit like a horn, and then all the fruit's coming out of the horn. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's called a cornucopia. So a lot of people remember there being a cornucopia. I 100% remember.
Yeah.
I would die on this hill.
Oh yeah.
I remember. Well, I wouldn't die because it's not worth dying for, but you know what I mean. It's a figure of speech.
Exactly.
It's a cornucopia on Fruit of the Loom. It always has been. The only reason I know what a cornucopia is because of Fruit of the Loom. I remember being in a history class in 8th grade. I remember my teacher. She was this crazy teacher who told us she was like 1,000 years old. And there was totally a cornucopia.
Yep.
Always was there a cornucopia.
Yep.
There's not now. They've changed their logo, and they were smart. I mean, if you saw what happened with Cracker Barrel, you change your logo without telling anyone. You don't make that known. Yeah, look, there cornucopia. Here's people saying there it is with the cornucopia. But if you talk to Fruit of the Loom or people at Fruit of the Loom, like, no, there was never a cornucopia. Yes, there was.
There absolutely is.
I remember there being a cornucopia. I remember being in history class, and I remember something being referenced about a cornucopia, and the teacher saying it's like what's on Fruit of the Loom on their label. That's a cornucopia. So, anyways, it's gone. It's not on the logo anymore, and people claim that it was never there. There's another group of people like the interwebs that say, nope, Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia.
This isn't helping my spiciness right now.
I know.
I'm getting angrier and angrier as we go.
Okay, in Star Wars, any of you guys ever seen Star Wars? What does Darth Vader?
Oh, 100%. I have never seen Star Wars, but this was a coined line that everybody knows.
First of all, can we go back for a second? Did you really just say you've never seen Star Wars?
Yes. Remember we tried and I fell asleep?
Yeah, I do remember that now that you're saying it.
Yeah, because your brother's like, you have got to see Star Wars. And I'm like, okay.
Well, you know, the flat Earth people are pretty certain that it was things like Star Wars that convinced us about space being what it is. Anyways, we'll get to flat Earth here in a little bit. But for right now, let's talk about this Luke, I am your father. According to the internet and other people who love Star Wars, they say he says, no, I am your father. Not Luke.
Just stop with it.
But y'all, like, we grew up as kids going, Luke, I am your father.
100%. Every one of us.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it was Luke. You can, y'all, I hope you're chiming in on these.
I hope so
I know
too.
you're chiming in after the fact of this recording, but you need to be chiming in on this. It was Luke, right? Like, yeah, it was Luke, 100%. I am your father.
We should have done this as a live.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun. Okay. Maybe we'll come back to this because there's lots of these. There's way more than just these. Febreze. How do you spell Febreze?
These losers.
A lot of people remember it as Febreze.
100%. It was.
Febreze. Yeah. Nope. It's just one E in between.
No, it's not.
So it's Febreze.
What a lie.
Febreze. Oscar Mayer. A lot of people remember it spelled with an E, but it's actually with an A. Oscar Mayer.
I think I remember M-A.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm with you. Maybe
that's one of the ones they're throwing in there.
They're throwing it in there to confuse us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I like it. Kit Kat. Many people remember there being a hyphen. There absolutely was a hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
Kit Kat. There was a hyphen. They're saying it's one word. Kit Kat.
No. I noticed they're choosing that one to do to us because who has a 20-year-old Kit Kat bar that we can prove, or a Kit Kat wrapper?
That's a good point.
That's why they're doing that.
That's a good point. Kit Kat actually had a hyphen because you can't say Kit Kat as one word. It's two made up words to begin with.
Yeah.
And there was a hyphen. So you knew it was two words. Kit Kat.
Let's look at the old commercial.
Yeah. That's the only way to do it. While you're looking up the old commercial, let's talk about the Monopoly Man.
He had a monocle. Isn't that what it's called?
Yep. A monocle. The Monopoly guy. Did he have a little eyeglass, like one eyeglass? It's called a monocle. Because the internet says he doesn't have a monocle and never has had a monocle, that he never had the little thing on his eye. But I am 100% certain that I remember playing the Monopoly game at McDonald's, which, by the way, that whole thing was rigged. There's a documentary about that. What are you seeing in the commercial, in the old commercial? She's got the old, like, they're like the firemen dancing with a Kit Kat bar. But I don't see a hyphen.
I don't either.
There's no hyphen.
That was whatchamacallit.
Who was it?
There was that actor.
You know what it was that looked like you know what it was in that when you just played that? It was there's like a little bite taken out of it.
Yeah.
like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what,
Yeah.
like, I guess is where they're supposed to be breaking it. Maybe that's why I remember a hyphen. I
Interesting.
feel proved wrong right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, number 10. Well, not last one because I have a couple that I'm going to throw in
Yes.
there. But mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the
Fairest
of them all? Like that's what she says in Snow White. That's what the witch says in Snow White. Mirror, mirror on the wall. No, the original is magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
It's funny because the new one, the new Snow White, she says magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah.
But
you probably only know that because I pointed that out and I said, no, that's a Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
They changed it.
Because it was mirror, mirror.
That. It was mirror, mirror on the wall. I mean, again, we grew up as kids. Billions had to have been in the billions of kids that said mirror, mirror on the wall when they were quoting from Snow White.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Let me give you a couple of my own. Before I do, let me tell you all about this. So some people have they take this real far and they say things like CERN. Y'all ever heard of CERN?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
My dad.
Oh.
He is a big time CERN guy and flat earther.
Oh, well. So some people believe that CERN, who's doing these particle accelerations, and do I think that CERN should be like trying to accelerate particles and I think a lot of times people are trying to play God and they're trying to disprove things like creation and they're trying to prove things like Big Bang Theory, which obviously, if you guys don't know this, I'm a pastor and we're Christians and we don't believe in that kind of stuff, but we just believe what God said in his word. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to just talk about like people say that CERN trying to do these particle acceleration things that they're trying to do and create a big bang and prove that things were not created by God. And I'm like, but if you create a particle accelerator and then you create a big bang and then that creates something, even if you did that, I would look at you and be like, it took you, the designer, to do that. It didn't just happen.
Right. And it took our Lord, our God, to create you to create that. So
that's what I'm saying. Like it's the only way you could really prove that would be to like just look at a particle for the rest of your life, and then when it finally accelerates, you'd be like, I knew it. Like, that'd be your only way. You can't create a particle accelerator to disprove creation.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, some people believe that CERN has opened up portals to other dimensions and that there are all these other dimensions and all these other quote unquote timelines, to which I say, it sounds like our modern day scientists used to read comic books and then now they have things stuck in their head.
That's right.
Like timelines. Here's what I would say. Like, just so y'all know, I love to joke with Kelly about this, and I'll say things like, "Oh, you're from that timeline," because certain things we don't always remember. I don't actually believe that. Like, I don't believe that there are alternate timelines. I don't believe that there are portals to other dimensions. The Lord could do what he wants. He's a big God and way bigger and way more creative and imaginative than I could ever understand. And so even if those things were true, it wouldn't shake my faith in any way. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that they're true. Yeah. The word of God says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And Jesus didn't have to die twice. As a matter of fact, Peter even says, dare we crucify Christ afresh? Christ did not die thousands of times over in all kinds of different timelines. And he didn't ignore all the other timelines and only come in this timeline. All that stuff would be foolishness if I think about Christ, the Savior of the world.
Agree.
And so, by the way, I feel the same way about aliens, even though that's not in this episode. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, again, the Bible says that all of creation groans with pain and travails with pain until the Savior. And so that's all of creation. He's redeeming all of creation. Mm-hmm. That includes every planet, every star, everything. He's redeemed all things. And he says, behold, I make all things new. And so if there's aliens on other planets, did Christ die for them? And are they growing in pain, but with no hope? All creation was cursed, and all creation is able to be redeemed through Christ.
Mhm.
So, anyways, that's where I stand on that. Sorry, that got heavy for a second. But back to Mandela Effect, I don't believe that it's CERN, and I don't believe it's different timelines, although it's funny to say to Kelly. I'll get to what I do believe about it here in 1 second, but I'll just say that one of them that I completely remember is that Thanksgiving would be the third Thursday of every November. That was a day of Thanksgiving. We had whatever president marked it as a day of Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving days. We had days of Thanksgiving, but it was marked as a national holiday. The day of Thanksgiving, our nation celebrates it on the third Thursday of November. It's been changed. But Kelly doesn't remember it being the third.
I just don't remember.
You're agnostic about this one, but I'm telling you, it was the third Thursday. But no, now it's not. Now they say it's the fourth Thursday. It's the last Thursday. And I'm like, that only leaves 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And no, it used to fluctuate. And somebody said to me that no, it wasn't that, but it was the last Thursday. And so that's why sometimes you have more days after that Thursday before you get like what I'm remembering is that you have more days in between the last Thursday. Like sometimes it's like Thursday and then the last Thursday is whatever date. And then you just a few days later you're in December. Other times the last Thursday has even up to 5 or 6 days in between. And that's why I'm remembering a week in between Thanksgiving and December. And I'm like, it's plausible. But I remember it being like the third Thursday. We were taught, I remember being taught my T's, and it was like the third Thursday, Thanksgiving, like it was all T's. That was a way to be taught T's. Now, maybe I had a kindergarten teacher that just made stuff up. Maybe that was it. Miss Weston.
You remember?
Yeah, actually, she might have been my second grade.
I do remember my kindergarten teacher.
You know what I remember most about kindergarten?
Yeah, my first grade.
I used to get so scared my mom wasn't going to pick me up that I would throw up, and sometimes I threw up on other children.
Oh,
I know. I feel bad about that. I would throw up on the back. I threw up on the back of this one girl, like on her back. And then one time they were having culture day, and we were having green tea, and they poured it into one cup and they were passing it. And I was panicked that I was going to have to drink this tea I didn't want the green tea, and I didn't want to drink from everybody else. And I'm like sweating, and all of a sudden we're like all sitting Indian style, and all of a sudden I just lost it all over the floor. That's what I remember about kindergarten. Anyways, okay, let me give you guys another one before another Mandela Effect before I move on. Ed McMahon.
This is the biggest one.
This is
in my eyes.
You'll never get me to come off of this one ever. Like never. This one, I will let Kelly fight you for.
Oh goodness.
Ed McMahon.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
In some way, shape, or form. You can word it however you want to word it. He was the guy that represented Publishers Clearinghouse.
100%.
So there was a magazine company, book company called Publishers Clearinghouse. And they, as a marketing ploy, they had people fill out their info.
That's right.
Info for them. You'd fill out a little card, send it in to be registered, and Ed McMahon would be the spokes guy. They'd bring a camera crew, and Ed McMahon would come to your front door with a giant check for a bunch of money, and everybody wanted and entered into the Publishers Clearinghouse. Like it was a known thing. Publishers Clearinghouse, you could get a big check. I remember my mom being like, that's a scam. They're not ever.
It ended up like they came out and said that year after year, somebody wasn't winning, or like someone in the family or in the tight group was winning.
Oh, I can imagine that. That happened with the McDonald's.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That happened with the McDonald's one.
Yeah.
The McDonald's monopoly, like that was all a big scam. So, but anyways, the Mandela Effect says that if you look it up, go right now. Trust me on this. Well, don't trust me. Look it up. Google, did Ed McMahon work for Publishers Clearinghouse? And Google will tell you, no, he did not. But this interesting thing happened. I did something. I went in the reverse. And I went and looked up about Ed McMahon. I just said, forget the Publishers Clearinghouse part. I just said, give me the whatever about Ed McMahon. Well, it uses a different name like Edward something McMahon. But as I read through his bio on Wikipedia and then on something else, not that Wikipedia is the most trustworthy source, I get that, but twice in his bio did it say that he worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yep.
But then Publishers Clearinghouse claims Ed McMahon never worked for them. He was never their spokesperson, and they never gave away big checks like that. They never gave away money. That was a different company. But y'all, everyone who is
from the 90s,
everybody who, yeah, I would say if you are mid 30s and above,
yeah,
you remember Publishers Clearinghouse.
Absolutely.
There's not one person who's our age that's going to say, oh, like, it wasn't Ed McMahon.
That's right.
No, you're wrong. There is a video that's going on. Now, people have said this is an AI video and it's doctored, but I don't believe it. But there's a video of the Golden Girls, and she like answers the phone, and then she's like, what? Ed McMahon is coming to our house? And all the other Golden Girls like, what? Ed McMahon, Publishers Clearinghouse? Like, they named Ed McMahon, that he was going to come to the house and bring them a check, and that it was Publishers Clearinghouse. Everybody knew it. They'll never get me off it.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. All right, y'all ready for Pastor Justin's theory? Okay, here's my theory. Okay.
He's getting serious, y'all.
Here's my theory. I think that there's powers that be that want us to believe certain things.
Yeah.
And I think that they use things like the Mandela Effect to see what they can convince us of.
And what you can erase.
Yeah, like what can you erase? What can you convince us to believe or to not believe? What can you convince us is true or not true? And like, what does that actually take? So even like the idea of having some Mandela effects that aren't quite like, it's like, oh, we might remember it that way. You know, it's almost like toying with us to get us to be like, oh, see, Mandela effects aren't really real. Like, that really didn't happen. Like, I absolutely remember Nelson Mandela died in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everybody talked about him being dead.
Agree.
And then all of a sudden he's back one day.
Yeah.
And,
agree.
And that was kind of the start of it, where people are like, oh, it's, you know, they call it the Mandela effect, like all these people remembering something. I personally think that there really is some sort of power. I don't know who they are. I don't want to come at you with I don't want to go too far off the deep end and be like, it's Illuminati or it's this or it's,
though I believe in Illuminati.
I believe that there are underground syndicates, whether those are above ground or not. You know what I'm saying? Like
Pizzagate.
But yeah, I mean, there's some serious stuff there.
Wayfair.
Wayfair, y'all.
We're coming for you.
That's not even a conspiracy. Like, that was in your face.
Yeah.
I can't, y'all. If you don't know, you need to do some deep diving on what happened with Wayfair. Like, that was, you can't do that. Like, I know what I saw. I saw it for myself.
That's
I looked it up for myself. I'm telling you, I was at my business with my family, went to Wayfair and started looking these things up.
So did I.
Like, I'm like typing them, looking them up I saw it on my own screen, know what I saw.
Yep.
There were missing children, that their names and their numbers on the missing children reports were used on items on Wayfair, and those items were crazy high priced.
Yep.
There was
$10,000, $20,000.
Yeah, there was a cactus picture that was like $14,000. That was what started it. Some girl on TikTok points this out, and she's like, "Why does the name of this cactus picture is the same name as this little girl that's missing?" And the item number is the missing girl's missing persons number on the missing persons report, whatever it was. And then it's priced at like $14,000 for this cactus picture. And then as they started looking, there was like a locker and a this and a that, and they were all via Wayfair, the company. And then Wayfair just erases them all and then basically says, oh, tell everybody that they're just foolish. You know, they're just, you know, what do they think we're doing? Shipping kids? I don't know if you're shipping them or if there's a place to meet up, or I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes, but you can't name products after missing children, multiple products after missing children. And I saw those with my own eyes and then get me to say, oh, no, nothing was
exactly
going on. So,
and I will fight over that.
But I think that it's things like that's being used to manipulate. We all know that there is a level of control that's being sought after. Now, if you want to go down the rabbit trail of why they want that level of control, is it to make money? Is it to be rich? Is it to have power? Is it to put who they want in power? Whatever. I don't want to get into all that because I think there's just becomes a whole lot of speculation and assumption. But I can say that I absolutely know that Ed McMahon worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
Whether he worked for them, was subcontracted, if you want to word it a different way, he was the guy that would represent them. And everybody
100%.
knew he would come to your door. And so why would anyone, my answer to that is why would anyone want to change that?
Right.
I don't have the answer to why they would want to change it, but other than to say, I think that is a level of like, if we can control you in this, we can learn a lot about your psychology, human psychology, group psychology, by kind of putting these smaller, lesser things like, can we get people to agree with, no, it wasn't Ed McMahon. Actually, it says this.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's what you find is like the younger generation will come at you and be like, no, look at what it says here. Well, of course it says that there.
That's right.
That's the whole thing. And y'all, I've seen some really crazy, scary stuff with AI.
Yeah.
Like really crazy, scary stuff.
Yeah.
That
you can do anything.
Yeah, there's so much that can be done right now. And you need to hear this. That's the free version. That's the free version that they're giving you. Why would they give you that for free? Why would Elon Musk want to make an AI that you can get for free? Why does ChatGPT want to give you this free version? I mean, I know they have their paid version, but even the paid version is nominal.
Yeah.
Compared to what AI would cost to create.
Yep.
The billions and billions of dollars that would be caught. Now, granted, they're stand to have these huge companies, right? But y'all, what I'm saying is if that's what we have available to the general public, well, then come on. Like, what does the U.S. government have? What technology is out there that we have no idea about? So anyways, now how do you get us to believe that technology? How do you get us to trust that technology? Because if you're like me, you're in a crowd that goes, okay, like I can see the tool side of AI. I can see it as a tool. I don't trust it. I don't trust it as far as I can throw it.
That's right.
I will double check everything that comes from that. I think there's Google the same. Like you can't get me just because Google says it doesn't mean that I believe that it's true. I'm like, there was a time I was raised in time like you cannot believe everything you read, and you certainly can't believe everything that's on the internet. And now it's like that's the only way we get our information. And even worse, we get it by people who we don't even know that made a 1-minute video that was easy to digest. So yeah, I think that's the reason that there's a Mandela effect. There you go. That's my thought.
Agree.
But it is fun to tell Kelly she's from a different timeline.
He only does that because I'm a year older than him.
You're from a different timeline. I can't remember what the other one was that I did the other week that I kept saying to you. I was like, oh, that's because you're from the other timeline.
I forget.
I can't remember what it was. I'm trying to think of it. I love these though. Every time I see them, every time I see the Mandela effects, I'm like all in them. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So, but we got to talk about more. Let's talk about the moon landing.
Let's talk about the moon landing. That did not happen in a tinfoil spaceship that we just haven't gone back. Let's go when we had like zero technology, yet we called them on the moon. You drop a phone call here now, 2025, when you go through like the woods of North Carolina or Tennessee. When I go in through over a creek and it drops a call, but we called someone on the moon how many years ago now? Try me. Seriously.
Can I read this?
Yeah.
All right, let's read this first, and then you can.
Okay.
And then you can fire off. You're firing on all cylinders, and I love it. Yeah. I'm all for it. The Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969 is one of the proudest moments in American history. American history. Okay, but some people believe it was staged. The idea is that NASA, desperate to beat the Soviet Union in the space race, faked the landing in a studio. Conspiracy theorists point to things like shadows going in different directions, the flag appearing to wave, and no stars in the background of the photo. Scientists have explained these details, but the theory keeps popping back up.
They touched on those ones, and I don't even care about those ones.
Let's go over the ones. Let's go over these top 10, or at least the top 10 given to us.
Yeah.
The flag looks like it's waving. How can it wave in space? There's no stars visible in the sky.
The stars in the sky is irrelevant to me.
Shadows don't line up, suggesting multiple light sources.
For sure. I mean,
it would track.
It would track. Yeah.
Yeah. Why haven't we gone back since 1972?
Thank you very much. That's the biggest one. To me, that is the biggest one.
There's some other good ones here. Next one's good. The Van Allen radiation belt would have killed the astronauts.
That I agree with. That one I'm like borderline with because my dad is, flat earth. Like he's extreme and he talks about the radiation belt and stuff. But yeah, I agree with it.
To be flat earth and then to talk about the Van Allen radiation belt would seem like they would counteract each other, because we'll get to flat earth later. Yeah. So easy now. All right. Dust from the landing behaving like it should in low gravity. So dust falling quickly like in low gravity. Film technology in 1969 was too primitive for live broadcasting from the moon.
Agree.
Okay. Number 8, astronauts' footprints are too sharp for dry dust.
I mean, I think we have much bigger fish to fry than that. So
Stanley Kubrick supposedly filmed it. Popular theory.
That's that whole like the rug that's in that one movie.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is an interesting thing. So let me explain this one real quick because I do think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So Stanley Kubrick is the guy that made the movie The Shining. Certainly would not recommend that movie. I think those things are demonic.
I've never seen any of it and I refuse.
I recommend keeping that stuff out of your house. That's what I recommend.
Heck yes.
I think it's demonic.
And out of your mind. Like, just don't.
Yeah. But there is an interesting thing that happens. So there is a rug that is in the movie The Shining. And there's a very particular pattern on this rug. The little boy in the movie has a shirt on that has a homemade drawing of space rocket, and it says NASA on his shirt. And at one point he's very, I don't want to say deliberately, I don't think things are happenstance in movies. Somebody literally staged it, but he is staged standing on that rug with that rocket ship that says NASA, right? And you see this scene. The landing pad or the launch pad of the rocket ships is in the same pattern as the rug from that movie. So when you see pictures, the rocket ship, the landing pad under the rocket ship is the same pattern as the rug from The Shining, which Stanley Kubrick made The Shining. That is kind of interesting.
I agree.
Like there's like why is there a pattern to the space landing?
Right.
Like, why isn't it just concrete?
Right.
Anyways, okay, that's the launch pad. Last one, Bill Casing's 1974 book, We Never Went to the Moon, sparked much of this. I don't know about all that. I didn't read that.
I don't either.
I really didn't even know this was such a popular thing until I learned about flat earth theory, that was like a thing for people. And then Kelly, then I met Kelly, and she's like, we're on the phone one day and she's like, you don't believe in the moon landing, do you? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't not think so. And you know what? She says to me, like, I'm dumb. She's like,
I would never.
Oh.
I would never.
All right, so
I'll die on this hill. Like maybe I won't die on this hill, but still, I don't believe it. There's nothing that you can tell me short of bringing me in a time machine and witnessing like being on the ship, because bull. I call bull. Like, do you guys see the ship? Literal tinfoil ship. Like,
Okay, so can we talk about it like back and forth a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're saying tinfoil on the ship. I'm like I hear you, but I think that to make the assumption that it is completely made out of tinfoil, like there is a foil.
Tinfoil and cardboard.
there is a foil something surround. There's something that's the like looks like a flimsy material like a foil surrounding, but
you made it off of this plant.
But I don't know what is underneath it. That's what I'm saying. Like if what that is some sort of a heat shielding, that then under that is some sort of insulation, that then under that is some sort of metal or plastic or whatever, like.
But you put the flimsiest thing on the outside.
Well, but it would, I mean, if you're using it to reflect radiation and heat, like, I mean, that's how you use foil in the oven. Now, if it's like, if you were to say like, here's proof NASA used legitimate like Reynolds tinfoil, I would be like, oh, that seems strange. But there are probably other substances of metal that could be rolled out into thin sheets that could be used. So like, is it actually tinfoil, and is it the thickness of tinfoil? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, it's flimsier than tinfoil. It's like, that wrapping paper that you get that's like
it does look thin. they went to the craft department and they got some gold leaf and put it on there.
I can't do this, babe. I can't. Apollo 13.
So then there's also like broadcasting, the television broadcasting. So I thought it was Apollo 11.
Oh yeah, my bad. 11. No, I don't like that number.
Oh boy.
No,
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
She loves it, y'all. She loves it. But look at these other ones. Look at these other images. I mean, of course, images can be doctored like crazy. So, but like that's not tinfoil.
That's not.
Right. So you're talking about the landing.
Yes.
You're talking about the landing module.
Yes.
Go ahead, say it.
Look at it. Look at this. You can see the wrinkles in the material.
Where you can. It's one of those moments like when I'm looking at this. So I don't know if y'all can see. I don't know if y'all be able to see this. Like that's the leg of the landing module. Can you see that?
I'm going to post this picture in the comments.
You got to remember to do it now. You said you're going to do it. Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
This looks like our lift bar, the cushion that I use.
There's like a cushion like wrapped around the leg and pinned on.
Look at the wrinkles.
Yeah. Kelly's loving this way too much. Look, I don't know what to say, but here's a funny fact about the moon landing. Here's something else that I would say, but I have a new thought about this. So
I guess it did get a little battered in the trip.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it got battered in the trip. Well, I mean, again, they didn't launch with that. So,
but that made it to the moon.
Well, it landed on the moon. It was the thing that came off the ship that then landed on the moon. It wasn't about looks. It wasn't. They weren't trying to make it look the best.
It's not about. You're right. It's not about looks. It's about like what could hold up. There is no way. There is absolutely no way. All right. So now that we've gone over looks, y'all, you guys can go ahead and dissect this picture with me.
You got to zoom in on it though, because it is funny. Like, do me a favor, just rewind this, and as Kelly's laughing, I want you to look at that photo. I know some of y'all are listening only in your ears, but you're missing out on this. You need to look. I need you to zoom in on the left leg of the landing module, the picture that Kelly, she's gonna share it in the comments. You better share it now because we're like talking about
I'm going to. And look, there's no footprint.
Yeah. He's kind of floating there.
Well, no, it looks like his foot's kind of halfway buried, but yeah, I can see it being up. But what about this one? How come like half of his foot is buried in the dirt?
I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. But, yeah. Anyways.
Oh, and look, you can even see the edge of the moon.
And it's flat.
He was on the edge.
It's like a horizon line, honey. Like,
nowhere on this planet can you stand and see the edge of our planet like that.
You can see the horizon.
You can see the horizon, but you can't see.
The ocean.
It looks like he's going to step off the planet.
No, he's got a good 10 feet.
Y'all can tell me. Oh, but then look, see, there's this curvature, but then you don't have curvature. I can't. This is
Maybe it's
the
a
dumbest
hill.
thing. Look at this dirt. Look at this dirt.
She's on it right now, y'all. We're getting there.
Oh my gosh.
And we got to do a podcast here.
I know. So second to the looks. Tell me why we haven't been back.
There's no need to go back.
Right. That's the classic line.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
We got the t-shirt.
Exactly.
You know?
That's exactly it. And it's just a shame.
You know, we found out there was nothing there. It's just a bunch of dust. And it's like, well, you don't spend billions of dollars to go hang out in the dust? Of course, the answer is we do that to go to the desert. We don't spend billions, but we'll go there. It is interesting to say, why haven't we gone back? It is also interesting. You got to do a podcast with me.
All right. I'm sorry.
So
I'm heated up.
She's like scroll, y'all. She was like monster scrolling. Like there was anger in her finger as she was scrolling. Here's something though. Like, there are a lot of people that work for NASA, a lot of people. So like, that's a lot of people to keep up with a lie. Like to produce even what looks to us like a junky movie scene that would take people and money, like a crew of people to make that happen.
You mean like actors?
Okay, but then you have actors lying to the whole nation, and no one from that group has ever come out and said, there's videos of people getting videos of Buzz Aldrin, but Buzz Aldrin, if you actually watch those videos, is being smart aleck. People take the clip and they clip out the part.
There's 50% truth to every joke.
What I'm saying is that no one has ever come out and said, I was part of the group.
No, they died.
We faked
They
it.
literally killed them.
They killed all of them. Everybody who worked on the set.
Number one,
like
it doesn't take that many people to work on the set. Number two, you could absolutely fake out and trick a bunch of people in the NASA.
All right, so that's a common argument, right? Which is that a smaller group of people knew that it was faked.
For sure.
And a larger group of people were being faked with the rest of the country.
Yeah.
That what was happening over here,
right,
being live broadcast from some studio or from some desert or whatever, that was the live broadcast. And then, those people sitting at NASA looking at screens or whatever are all being duped. They're looking at computer screens or whatever, but there's a large amount of assumptions that are going into that. Because like now you have to have some computer programmer that programs a computer to lie to person number two that's sitting in front of that computer. So that person number two thinks that there was a lot of people looking at screens and doing things that all of them were being faked. And then the idea that not only are they being faked, but they didn't put it together, that they were like, hey, something's not right here. Like none of those people were like, something's not right. Like, how are we doing this? I'm an expert in whatever, and we're sitting here, and this doesn't make sense. Like how we're on the moon right now. Like the communications guy, how come he wasn't like, how are we talking to them on the moon?
That's where I think like, how foolish. How foolish that anybody believes.
I think I looked at this number before. It was something like 45,000 people working for NASA. It's a lot.
Not all 45,000 of them were sitting in the room watching this thing happen.
No, but that's my point. Like, that's 45,000 people that you're duping. So somebody has to be doing something to
They're duping the entire planet.
Right. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is one guy can't program all the computers and type out all of the
Not one
reports.
guy was doing that, though.
That's my point. It would take a lot of guys to dupe 45,000 people.
Look at the Hollywood elite and the duping that they're doing.
Oh, listen, they're not.
The child trafficking, the seances, all the
things.
Are we
talking about the moon landing?
I'm just saying, it all goes together. And like, you will never convince me. And like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care if I don't convince others. I know. And I feel like, I don't know.
I feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like I have a whole lot of questions about the moon landing.
And you should.
I have a whole lot of them that I say, wait, like, why is that like that? And how did we get through the Van Allen radiation belt? Like how did you, I mean, we're talking about like melting metal levels of heat and radiation. How did we get through that?
Special protective suit called tinfoil.
There are definitely questions that I have. I do question like the relaunch as it was launched away. Like, how did the camera follow the landing module? That's another question I have. But if you were to like pin me down and be like, Justin, did we land on the moon? Yes or no? I'm probably going to default to if you made me answer yes or no.
I'm making you answer.
I'm scared to answer this because I feel like it's going to be held over me for a long time. I could change. I'm telling you, I could change. But if you make me answer yes or no, I would say yes.
Oh, my. Well, folks, that was that.
Wow. I mean, I'm not going to leave you because you believe we didn't.
I'm leaving you.
You were.
That's just the end of the show right there. Let's wrap this up. I cannot believe this, y'all.
I'm with you to say we have lots of questions, but I still stand on this. You're standing on like, why haven't we gone back? And I stand on this. Like, okay, number one, what do we actually gain versus what do we risk by faking a moon landing?
Whatever they were covering up.
Okay, there could be answers there, but I'm saying that stick with me for a second. That's a huge risk to get caught. Like, you're talking about national shame. If we get found out, listen, hang on, stick with me. If it is found out that we lied and said that we went to the moon and we didn't go to the moon, you were talking about like national shame.
Honey, think about everything else that's covered up. We're being lied to about the child trafficking, about all these other things, and it's swept under the rug. Like, you are literally, they are confusing an entire planet of people and making them think it's all lies. I'm crazy because I believe that there's children being trafficked. It's on the same level.
Okay, I'm with you on that, but
and so what a shame for us 50 years from now to find out you're not going to. Just like, and I know this is going to seem irrelevant, but just like the whole like Trump calling out Hillary Clinton for all these things, but you notice nothing is done. The same thing happens here. Even if somebody, one person who is in high power finds out that it's not true or knows that it's not true, are you going to get anywhere with that? Absolutely not. You're not going to get anywhere with that. Because nothing is done to the elite that do the things that they do, and it's all covered up for them.
I know that in this episode you're going to have a lot of support, and I'm going to take some heat for saying that.
That might not be true. There might be some people.
But what I'm saying to you is that to fake the moon landing, which obviously you have to believe in a moon, but to fake the moon landing is a huge risk. To what I'm saying to you is it's a risk of exposure. And if that gets exposed, I mean, look, here we are. As of right now, factually speaking, it is presented as factual that we've landed on the moon, and it's presented as conspiracy that we did not land on the moon, right? Are you with me there?
It's presented that way.
It's presented that way. That's what I'm saying. So to hold to that presentation as a fact, as a nation, and say that we went to the moon, if as technology grows, if it is exposed that we did not legitimately, like it now is presented as like it is factual, we did not land on the moon, and here, let me just hang on, stick with me. The public shame that comes to our nation from that is a huge risk for the reward of what? Covering up something that was happening here on planet Earth while we were all looking at the moon. Like I don't know. What I'm saying to you is like I don't know what you could do. Here's another way to word it. There could be and are other ways to cover things up besides getting people to look at my right hand. Oh, look, I'm going to the moon so that I'm over here doing Watergate or whatever. Like I'm just saying that it makes a whole lot less sense to say, you know what we're going to use to cover up our stuff is we're going to tell everyone we went to the moon. That's a big one. Like that's a really big lie. And so do I have lots of questions? Yes. Are there parts of me that distrust and go, is it possible we didn't go to the moon and we're being lied to in some way? Yes, I totally believe that. But if you're going to get me to say, like, are we lying or are we not lying? I go, well, I also have questions in the reverse. Like, what could we be covering up that was so drastic that we had to tell everybody we went to the moon? If it seriously is just because we wanted to win the race, the space race with the Soviet Union, if that's the reason that we would make up such a lie, that's a huge risk. Because, what do you do then if the Soviets actually do make it to the moon and are like, where's your flag? Like I thought you said there was, and there's stuff there. I mean, we've had satellites that have gone by the moon, taken pictures of the moon, and you can see the equipment that was left behind on the landing site of the moon. We have pictures of that. But of course, as all things, it's, well, then those pictures could be doctored and they could be, like, it totally could be. I'm in agreement that I have questions, but I'm saying that for me, as just as much as you're saying, I stand on why haven't we been back? I stand on, like, why would we fake that? Why would so many people fake that? If it was thousands of people faking out 45,000 people to fake out the whole world, or if it was 45,000 people all in agreement to all lie about this to fake out the whole world, either way, that's a huge risk and a huge lie. And I can't generate a reason in my mind that would say, why can't you use something that's a little easier to fake than to fake that?
But like you just said, there's a huge risk that it's exposed. It's exposed. And what are you doing to the people exposing it? You're making them look crazy. You're calling them conspiracy theorists. And they won.
I'm not making them look crazy.
They won. They have covered it up to the point where if you believe otherwise, you're dubbed as a conspiracy theorist. And so you have another group of people that are saying, well, I'm not going to believe the things that they're believing, so I believe the lie of the moon landing.
I wonder.
So it was exposed.
If they make the moon landing the Mandela effect, then there's people that are like, we did go to the moon, and other people are like, no, we didn't. Other people are like, I don't remember any of it.
I'm sticking my flag here.
I know you are.
We didn't go to the moon.
All right, y'all. We got a little bit more to
Here's
do.
one that me and him do agree on.
We do completely agree on this.
I kind of want to take up for you flat earthers at this point, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really hope you don't do that. That would be.
It's just as tragic to me that your answer now is sitting here that you'd say, I believe in the moon landing. I'm like, my gosh, I can't believe it.
I've never changed that. I've told you that before.
Well, no, you said you lean more towards it's not. But
I said, but you said I'm making you answer. Like, if you make me answer right now, I can't. None of the questions that are arising are making me say it's reasonable enough to fake the whole thing. Like, there's still too much at stake, too much at risk to fake such a thing for me to say, oh yeah, like they did that to cover up child trafficking or some other thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
So like that's where I'm at. It's more of a just being reasonable about the whole. And I have the same thing about flat Earth. Let's talk about flat Earth for a minute. So here is the reading. Do you want to read this one, the flat Earth one? I read the moon landing one.
No, I did.
No, I did. You read Mandela Effect. I read the Apollo moon landing.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Flat Earth theory says the Earth isn't a sphere, but a flat disk. The belief is that that Antarctica is actually a giant ice wall that holds everything in, and that NASA and world governments are covering up the truth. Flat earthers often say photos from space are faked and that you can see too far across lakes or plains for the Earth to really be curved. While science has long confirmed the Earth's shape, this theory still has a passionate following. Science has proved, like, that bothers me. The reason I believe that we're not a flat Earth is because too much biblical scripture points to a round Earth. I look at the moon, I see a round moon. So for me, that's what I'm basing flat Earth. But I could care less. I could care less if the Earth is flat, if it's a sphere, if it's a dome, if it's I just don't care. It could be a square, which it's going to be. But I could care less about any of the flat Earth stuff. Like,
yeah.
And I don't even know why I care so much about the moon landing. I guess I don't, but I do. I think I could care less if it happened or it didn't, but like in my mind, I'm like, just why? What? Like, you can put all these things together and see, like, oh my goodness, that is the fakest garbage I've ever seen. And yet, I don't know, I feel like people are being tricked by it. And so that's what I think what bothers me the most.
Mm-hmm.
But flat Earth, I could care less.
Well, what's funny is I feel like even as you're speaking, I feel like you're kind of leaning towards flat Earth.
No. I believe we live on a round Earth.
I believe we live on a round Earth too.
And there's nothing in me that believes flat.
Let me give you a couple of talking points though. And we'll talk. And I know some of y'all are probably flat earthers.
Oh, I'm sure.
I ran into this for the first time as a like in my mind, flat Earth was people believing the Earth was flat was from the 1300s and 1400s and before, and then it was kind of disproven, by sailing around the world and then flying around the world. And there are definitely things about flying, and traveling by ship. There are definitely things that are in the opposite of like the moon landing, things that make me question. There are things about flight and things about traveling by ship or whatever that really do aim us towards a round Earth.
And we know pilots that I trust with all that I am.
Yep.
That have literally flown around the entire Earth.
Yeah, they've flown around the. I don't know if they've flown around the entire Earth.
I'm Bill and.
It's if people have flown around the Earth, but if you look, like if you were to get on like Google Earth and turn the Earth around, like what we see of like the Earth with all the land masses is kind of one side. If you flip that around and looked at I think it's the Indian Ocean is huge. Like it goes across, it spans the whole almost back half. Mm-hmm. So you have like half of the Earth is just water. And it's really dangerous to fly or to take a ship over that because if something goes wrong, you have nowhere to land. So they try to fly along coastlines and try to take ships along coastlines to keep from having to make emergency landings, but you're over top of nothing but a giant body of water that nobody could get to you.
Right.
So, I mean, we do have way more ocean than we realize. Mm-hmm. But people have totally flown around it, and people and they have taken ships around it. It's just very dangerous, very treacherous.
I'm not saying he took it like a one trip around. I'm not, but he has literally been everywhere.
I know 2 pilots that have flown over the North Pole.
Yeah,
and can speak of flying over the North Pole, and I think one of them has flown over Antarctica, but I can't.
We should do an interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should. But let me talk about a few things there. Yeah. So the horizon looks flat, not curved. The horizon of the earth looks flat, not curved.
That's what they say. That's what flat earthers say.
Yeah. Airplane windows show a flat view. You can supposedly see too far across lakes and plains. NASA fakes all space photos. Antarctica is an ice wall, not a continent. Gravity is fake. Objects fall because of density. Sun and moon are small, local, and move in circles above the disk. If the earth was spinning, we'd feel it. Ships don't really disappear over the horizon, and flight paths only make sense on a flat map. These are the talking points that they gave us. Let me talk about a couple of these for a second. So the earth, the horizon looks flat, not curved. That is this is one humble man's opinion, right? But that is a perspective thing. And the same thing with seeing it from an airplane. If I'm in an airplane, I look out, I still see flat. Well, you have to get up really, really high before you even begin to start to see the curve. And I want to give an example of that in a second, but I will tell you that I know two pilots, two of them. I know them, trust them, love them. They come to church with us. And I know three pilots that will look at me and say, so Randy, Bill, and Glenn have all three told me I have been high enough in a plane that I can see the curvature of the earth from that plane. Like I can see it with my naked eye. Bill even sent me a picture one time from a flight and was like, I'm at whatever feet. And he was like, this is my view.
Yeah.
And you can see a slight curve. You can't see a drastic curve.
Yeah.
You can see a slight curve. Well, so you have to understand the size of the earth is huge and how low we're actually flying when we're in a plane. I saw Kent Hovind explain this one time, and I thought it was a really great explanation. And he said this. He said, let's make a scale model. And he said, let's imagine for a moment that that we're going to make the earth a circle. And he draws a circle. And he draws a half a circle on this piece of paper so you can get a scale of it. He says, imagine if we shrunk the earth and made it an 8-foot circle. Okay, so everything in the earth shrinks at the same rate. So your house shrinks, you shrink, your car shrinks, everything shrinks. And now the earth is an 8-foot circle. So every plane that's on the earth is now to scale of an 8-foot around earth. And so he takes on a big piece of paper and he draws a big 8-foot arch. He's like, I don't have enough paper to go, or board or whatever, to go all the way down. From left to right, we have 8 feet, and up to the top we have 4 feet. And so he draws this. He says, so here's a scale of this earth. And he says, now imagine that this tiny little plane, because the plane shrunk with it, it's to all to scale. Imagine that this tiny little plane is going to fly, that it used to fly at 36,000 feet or whatever it is. So this plane flies at 36,000 feet. This is the average that a plane flies. Now that's several miles up into the air. But if we shrunk the entire earth down to an 8-foot ball, how high off of that 8-foot ball is that plane going to be flying? I'm asking you that question. How high is the plane, if there's an 8-foot ball and a plane to scale is flying at what used to be 36,000 feet, but so several miles, but has now been brought down to scale? How high off of the 8-foot circle is it flying?
I don't know, quarter mile.
Less than the width of a hair.
Oh my gosh.
If you were to bring down the scale of several miles,
that's crazy,
and you bring it all the way down, the plane is only flying like the width of a hair.
That's crazy.
And when I first heard it, I was like, maybe 6 inches off the ball.
Yeah.
But it's not even 6 inches. It's like
that's so crazy.
It's so tiny. So you have to understand that we are very, very small.
Agree.
We are but a speck on this earth. Now, whether you believe it's a ball or not, that's up to you. But I'm saying that we are but a speck.
Yeah.
So there's one. Number two, I can look in the sky and I can look at the moon, and my observations when I look at the moon, I say, that thing is a ball.
Yeah. You can see its curvature.
It's not just round. It is a ball. You can see that it curves around. Now you can look at me and go, how come we only see one side of the moon? I think that speaks to God's grand design. Okay. I think that it speaks to God's grand design. For those of you who say to me, okay, but what about the firmament? By the way, I want to say this real quick. So this topic comes up often with me as a pastor, like really, really often. Every month or so, I am having in-depth conversations with people about if the earth is flat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are attributing flat earth theory to faith.
Yeah.
That their faith is somehow interwoven and interconnected with flat earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the presentation that's given to me is like, if you don't believe flat earth, then you're believing a lie. And don't you want to know the truth and not a lie? And I would say to you that I do want to know the truth, but what did God tell you is the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said, I am the way,
Mm-hmm.
the truth, and the life. So I would give this caution. Don't replace your faith in Jesus with faith in NASA lying to you, or with faith in the earth is flat and everybody else has it wrong. But if you'll come to this knowledge of the truth, then you'll be opened up to come to the knowledge of Christ. Don't try to reword that.
Yeah.
Christ did not, if it was so important to believe the shape of the earth,
Yeah.
God would have given us some sort of a warning to say, this is what you need to believe about the earth. But he never gave that as a command, never gave that as a warning. Christ said he is the truth. So if you want to know the truth, you need to know Christ. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of people who believe the earth is flat who do not know Christ. Mm-hmm. And so knowing the earth is flat or round is not the truth. I'll say this, I'll back up and say, I couldn't care less. Mm-hmm. Round earth, ball, flat earth, disc, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. What matters to me is that you have your faith in Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. I love the conversation. I think it's a fun conversation. Yeah. But I would never, ever, ever want to see someone replace the truth of Christ, which is what I'm afraid I see. That we replace the truth of Christ, that we replace our tenacity that should be for sharing the gospel with promoting that the earth is flat. And I hope you'll hear the way that I just said that. The tenacity that we should have for promoting Christ and exalting his name, and we replace that with the shape of the earth. Yeah. Okay, that being said, let me come back to this for a second. I'm presented with this. I'm told there's a firmament. Now, I would tell you, as someone who has studied Hebrew and has studied Greek, that the firmament, though it can mean a solid structure, a shield-like structure, it also has another meaning, which is expanse. It literally means an expanse. And so to say that there is a firmament, that the Lord put a firmament above us, is to say, just like he says, the heavens declare his glory. So there is an expanse. The word is absolutely rightfully translated expanse. Mm-hmm. We are not incorrect to translate the word firmament as expanse. Mm-hmm. And if we look at the context, and if we look at the observation that we can take with our eyes, expanse is a correct wording. Mm-hmm. Shield is not necessarily a correct wording. As a matter of fact, you have to kind of do some let me go back to this. The people in the ancient world would have not understood anything about a dome being around us. Right. Because my observation says, well, there's a blue sky above me. And then that blue sky turns into a dark sky, a black sky with stars on it. There's a sun in the sky for some portion, and there's a moon in the sky for another portion. That's the only thing that I can observe. And there's lights. Now, what's being said is, oh, well, the sun and the moon are lights on the dome. There's a dome. The firmament is a dome, is a literal solid structure that is surrounding the earth, encapsulating the earth. And then the sun and the moon and the stars are lights on the dome. Well, but then you have eclipses. How does, whether you want to say, because the flat earthers have said to me, well, the sun and the moon, how come the moon is this size and the sun is this size? And so they just happen to be the perfect size to cross over each other. And I go, to me, that speaks of the glory of God's design. That is one more proof to me that God loved the world so much. He made something special for us in that. And that the sun and the moon and the stars are exactly what God gave them to us for, which is to tell the times and the seasons. Mm-hmm. That's what he says. That's why he gave them to us, is to be able to tell the times and the seasons. And so we can tell the times and the seasons based on the sun and the moon. And those things, to some degree, have to be, they can't just be on the dome itself.
Right.
Because they cross over each other. So whether you want to argue about the size and shape of them, they cross over each other.
Yeah.
And I can look at the moon. Now, I can't look at the sun and see that the sun is a ball. It's too bright.
Right.
Even with, I've got like glasses to see solar eclipses, and I've looked at the sun with those glasses on, and I still can't tell if it's a ball. It's just a circle.
Right.
But if I look at the moon, I can absolutely see the moon is a ball.
Yes.
I can see that the sun and all of the stars are circular. All of them are circular. And so I think that my observation says we can look and see other things are rounded. So why would we be flat?
Right.
Another one that's presented to me is that the Bible presents flat earth, that the Bible presents that the earth is flat. I would disagree. The Bible uses poetic language and hyperbole in all kinds of places. And I think the self-same argument that someone would say to say that the Bible says the earth is flat is the self-same argument that says, actually, if you're going to say that it's flat, then you need to say it's square. So the flat earth map of a circle is incorrect based upon the Bible. Because you know what I'm saying here? Because they all say what? The four corners of the earth.
Yes.
The Bible references the four corners of the earth.
Yes.
And they say you can't have corners on a ball. Well, okay, but don't be foolish.
You can't have corners on a dome.
You don't have corners on a circle because they say it's a flat disc. The dome is over it, and they say it's a disc. And so their map, not my map. Right. I don't believe in flat Earth, but their map says here's the circle, and so north is in the very middle of the circle. South is the very outer rim of that circle coming from north, and east and west are going in circles around that, which I'll come to that one in a minute. But the flat earthers say that, well, so when I say that to flat earthers, I say, but a circle doesn't have corners. They say north, south, east, and west. But that's still not a corner. Like, just stick with me for a second. If I was to hand you a circle and say, point out to me the corners, you cannot point out to me the corners. You can't. And the Bible absolutely references north and south and east and west, references those points. So if we're going to use poetic language as specific language and say that, but the Bible says there's corners, the four corners of the earth, then if that's allowed to be poetic for north, south, east, and west, then it's allowed to be poetic for north, south, east, and west for a ball. Because whether it's a ball that you're claiming has corners or a circle that you're claiming has corners, neither of those actually has corners, which then comes back to its poetic language and its hyperbole.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something to be stated. There's an idea too that they say, but like if we were moving, like we're floating out in space, different things react differently in different atmospheres. I feel like I'm boring you. Am I boring you?
Not at all. No, my mind is going a million different places.
Please share. Like I feel like I'm doing all the talking.
Well, no, I'm just thinking like ahead and thinking like about how Nephilim. But then I start thinking, oh, well, we need to do an entire thing on Nephilim because I feel like I've heard these explanations from you with all these people that approach you.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, this could be a good educational video for those who want to come to you about that. Just reference this video.
Yeah.
And then Nephilim too. We should do an entire one on Nephilim.
I have a video on the whole truth on Nephilim on Genesis 6.
Yeah.
Where I talk a little bit about that. But anyways, let me go back to my example though. Yeah. If I was to go and I was to get in my pool out back, and if I get in my pool and I bring toys into that pool, those toys will react differently. If I take that toy and I put it over top of the ground and I drop it, it will go to the ground.
If you take a beach ball.
I take a beach ball
off the deck and you drop it,
it'll go to the
falls.
Ground. Right.
If you try to drop it
I try to put it in the water and I try to push it to the ground. Now this is their argument against gravity, and they say, but that's why there's no such thing as gravity. But hang on, stick with me. I'm not talking about gravity. I'll do the gravity one in a minute. But let's just say that beach ball in the water floats, but on the surface of the land falls to the ground. If I take that beach ball and I push it to what is the ground under the water, it shoves its way back up. And I actually have some pool toys that will float in the middle.
Yeah.
because of their buoyancy and density and so on and so
Yes.
forth. My point to you is that that toy has a different reaction in air and land than it
Yes.
does in water.
Yeah.
Outside of the earth, if there is a thing called space, the reaction of our earth in that atmosphere, because that's where it's residing, is different than what's on the planet itself. So you can't look at the planet and say, oh, well, on the planet, everything does this, so that's what it must do out
Right.
there. No, it won't. That would be like comparing it to saying what it does on land, it has to do in water. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it does make sense to say that there could be a floating ball in space because that's the way things react
Right.
in that area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, it would be the same as like, to me, it would be the same as like trying to argue against magnets and being like, there's no such thing as magnetism. Well, I can see two magnets come together.
Yeah.
When you look at me and say there's no such thing as gravity, give it whatever name you want. There is a force that brings things to the ground and holds things on the ground. And if you say, oh, well, that's density. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. Call it density and call it buoyancy if you want, but it's still the same force.
I agree.
Throw something above your head and stand underneath of it. You'll find out there is a force, that's going to bring that thing back down. Jump off of something high, you will find there is a force that's going to bring you down. And just because you've given that force a different name doesn't mean you've proven anything.
Right.
Like one doesn't equate to the other. If you're saying there is no such thing as gravity, that still doesn't prove the shape of the earth is flat. I'll give you one more because I just think it's fun to talk about. This is something Kelly has seen firsthand with me. I like to equate it to this. Now, you flat earthers are not going to like this, but I hope you can stay lighthearted with me because it's true. But here's my comparison. I'm not saying it's exactly that they are this. I'm just saying it's like this. Have you ever noticed like people who are woke? You can never be woke enough. For the person who's like on the liberal side of things and the woke side of things, that like there's some people that are on like a, what I would call like they're definitely left leaning, but they're not like, full on lost their mind.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's those, then it's like, but then there's those that go like even further. And it's like, you can kind of see this pattern of like, yeah, but if you're okay with this, then they're okay with this. And that's not enough. Then you got to be, and it's like, you can't ever be woke enough.
Yeah.
And if you can get so far to that all of a sudden it's like, you're going, gosh, have y'all lost your minds?
Yeah.
Like the most natural, normal things you've kind of lost your mind about.
Yeah.
So I'm saying most flat earthers that I know are definitely on the conservative side of the spectrum. So I'm not saying you're left leaning. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you can never be conspiracy flat earth enough. If you think that you've taken it far enough, you haven't. The first time, here's a true story. The first time I ever heard flat earth theory, I went to work and I looked at a guy at work and I was like, his name was JT. I looked at JT and I was like, have you ever heard the people today believe the earth is flat? And he was a big conspiracy guy. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, absolutely. He was like, I just like to trump them. He was like, if they tell me that they believe the earth is flat, late as we get into that conversation, they bring up the moon. I'll say, oh, you believe in the moon? But the funny thing is, now I know flat earthers that do say there's no moon. The moon is a light on the dome, and they don't believe there's a surface of the moon that we could land on because they believe it's a light on the dome. So there's no surface to land on because it would be like me like going and like sticking myself to the ceiling. I can't do that. You can't go land on the moon because there's nothing to land on. And I always think to JT going, you believe in the moon? You'll never be. You realize if you're a flat earther and you say that Antarctica is the ice ring and there's a dome over top of that, you do realize there's an entire group of people who believe, no, there's actually more ocean and more land masses beyond the ice wall, and that we're all kept in by the ice wall, and that there's global elites, Nephilim and all kinds of things that are outside of the ice wall, and they actually are helping control things that are in the ice wall so that we don't ever get past the ice wall.
Yeah.
You're never going to be far enough. There's always somebody who pushes the envelope. My brother does something really funny when he talks to people who say they believe in flat earth. He goes, oh yeah, I believe in the flat earth shelf. And he says that our sky is the bottom of the ocean, of the earth that's above us, and then at the bottom of our ocean is the sky, and all of those little fish that glow at the bottom of the ocean, they're the stars for the earth that's below us. And
oh god,
I know that's kind of just trolling a little bit, but I mean, it does kind of make a point. Like, I would say this: when you ask me if the earth is flat, I would say, well, I mean, I know pilots who have looked at me and they've said, I've had flat earthers say to me, how come if you fly a plane, how come we don't fly right off the edge of the ball? And the answer to that actually is that when we fly, I've had pilots tell me this, they constantly have to adjust the nose of the plane. They are, we would say it in simple terms to say tipping the nose of the plane down. They are doing that. Like I had a pilot describe it to me this way. He said, if I'm flying level and I don't adjust that plane, I will gain altitude.
For sure.
Because
that's what makes sense.
That's right, because you're flying off the edge of the curve.
Yeah.
So again, for me, I look at the evidence of what I see. I look at the evidence of people that I trust that have more knowledge than somebody with a high-powered camera that's looking out at the horizon.
Yes. Which really quick, let's just jump. I know we're about to end this. But do you know that they're saying Samsung, when we look and zoom in at the moon, that we're not seeing the moon, we're seeing what they've created, a picture from telescopes of the moon. So they're saying our camera is not actually getting that crisp picture of the moon, that is AI presenting a picture of the moon to us. I think an iPhone user made this up.
Yeah, I think... You iPhone people.
They're just jealous because you can't get a picture of the moon like that.
If y'all don't know, you can zoom in pretty far. My camera cannot on my phone, but Kelly's camera can zoom in like really far on the moon.
And see crystal clear. But they're saying that is literally not the moon that you're looking at. Like you're not getting that shot.
Okay, here's what I would say about that. Even if your camera is not getting that shot, I don't know that I believe that. But even if it's not, I have absolutely, with my own eyes, I have a telescope in the closet over here. We'll go do it tonight. I've taken the telescope with my own eyes, looked through that telescope at the moon, and seen those same things, those same shapes and craters. And I've seen that in just as clear of a picture through my own personal telescope as I have on your phone. So if AI is taking pictures from a telescope and AI, rendering them and putting them on our phone, like, it's kind of shameful. There's a deceit to that. That's like AI, like adjusting your picture so you look thinner or you look, I kind of wish I had that feature. I'd be like, bam, like not thinner, but like more muscles.
I'll take the thinner.
So,
which, by the way, I'm gonna jump again. I'm sorry. I'm scattered.
Well, wait, let me finish the moon one.
Yeah.
My moon one would be this. I still have seen the moon look like that. So unless Samsung was messing with telescopes from the 1990s, and making my telescope see something via AI that I'm not really seeing, which maybe somebody would believe that or not. But what I'm saying to you is, like, I've looked and seen with my own eyes the moon look that same way with a telescope. So look at this. Yeah, this says AI overview from Google. It says, yes, Samsung uses AI to enhance photos of the moon by recognizing the moon as an object and adding details, textures, and shading that weren't captured by the camera's optics alone. This scene optimizer function, introduced on the Samsung Galaxy S21 series, employs deep learning models trained on many moon images to generate a more detailed and realistic looking moon, even when the initial image is blurred or lacks sufficient detail. Wow.
Doesn't that make you mad?
A little bit. I mean,
$1,200 for that phone.
Just so that it can show me a picture that's already available. You could zooming in on the moon with your camera is the same.
I literally bought that phone for the camera.
We sat outside with a tripod with it pointed up so it would sit really still and zoomed off.
So aggravating right now. But it's really fun.
You know what? I've changed my mind, y'all. It's all a lie. Everything's a lie. The earth is flat. We didn't go to the moon because you can't go to the moon. And
Oh,
I don't know
I
what to say
love
about the
it.
Mandela effect.
And the mirror, which is what I was going to bring up. Y'all, if you go to TJ Maxx, Walmart, Target, wherever you shop.
All right, we have an ability to test this theory.
Yeah, we're going to.
Okay.
I am telling you, at least in the women's dressing rooms, I've never been in a man's dressing room, but I think they're in some stores, maybe I don't know. But anyways.
Old Navy, they're all the same.
Oh, okay. So even in Old Navy, this is true. If you try on an outfit and you're looking in the mirror, it makes you look slimmer. And the reason I think they're doing this is so you purchase it. You're like, oh, I look good in this. You take that dress home, put it on immediately when you get home and look in your own mirror. And you do not look as slim as you did in Old Navy or anywhere else. I guarantee it.
I don't agree with this one, but I love it. I think it's great. And Kelly bought a dress. She bought 3 dresses when she was supposed to go buy 1 dress. And she was actually supposed to go look for a dress.
But you knew I was going to purchase. That's why I went to look a dress. But I ended up with 3.
Just so you all know, that video was not faked. That short video. Kelly actually did come out the back door. I was sitting out back working on my sermon after our vacation, and Kelly, she came out the door.
And you're like, oh, well, so you were just filming? No. When I first opened my mouth,
she said option 1. And yes. I was like, hang on. Nope. I know where this is going. And I picked up my phone and started filming. And I was like, okay, go ahead. And she's like, option 1. I'm like, to say option 1 means there's an option 2. And she went and put on option 2. And I'm like, we're supposed to be saving money right now. And
we're saving money.
No, we're not. We're buying dresses.
No, we're not just
and
buying dresses.
Having barbecues. Anyways, Kelly's understanding of saving money and my understanding of saving money are 2 different understandings.
We could be a super force together
if we both save, or at least we'd have some savings.
Oh goodness. So
I'm trying to help her, y'all. I really am.
But go where you're going with it, right? And so then he's videoing me.
She doesn't like the way she looked in one of the dresses, and she swears right now that those mirrors in the dressing rooms, that she looked different in those mirrors than she does at home. I actually think differently. Here's what I think. I think that when you see yourself on camera, you see yourself differently. It took me a long time to get used to my voice and to get used to the way that I looked on camera. Now I'm to the point now I don't care. Like it's like you get so used to something. So if I'm hearing myself right now the way that I hear myself on camera, I don't know if you're that way yet. Do you hear yourself the same?
Okay, so what I'll say is no and yes. Like when we were sitting here talking like 10 minutes ago, my ear did that pop again and I can hear again out of it. But when I couldn't hear out of it for this past week and yesterday singing at church, I sound like a different person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's my true voice.
But do you hear yourself as that from the camera?
No, like even regular times. Like when I watch these videos back, I sound like my niece, like her voice, everything.
Okay, so you hear yourself differently from the camera than you do in person.
Yeah.
You will grow to a point, because we have to edit these, right?
Yeah.
So we hear ourselves talking, and then you hear yourself talking on camera. You'll get to a point, or at least I did. I've got to a point that I hear myself the same here that I do when I edit.
Yeah.
When I put it on the computer and I begin to edit, I sound the exact same. And my mannerisms, like I didn't realize all the movements I was making and things at first. I'm like, gosh, I kind of can't stand the way I look and move. But then like after a while I grew used to it. And so now I don't even think about it. Like it doesn't bother me like it used to. I think that the dress, you see yourself in the dress, you feel like you look different. I think it's kind of in that same realm of like hearing yourself different or seeing yourself differently. I don't think that TJ Maxx pays money to get funhouse mirrors that make you look thinner so that you feel better about your dress. But there's a way to test this. Is what I said. You take the dress, put on the dress.
But even then, the pictures are different. They are. Remember when you took that video and I said to you, Kaylee, our daughter said, Mom, like I'm telling you, you looked different in the video than you do in person. In person, you look thinner in that dress than you do on that video. Like it's crazy the difference in the video. she's like, I don't know if it was the angle he was sitting at when he was taking
That's what I'm
it.
saying. Like angles make a difference, like all of that. So
But even you agreed, you said you definitely look different in person
I'm
and
just
watching
saying,
those videos back.
here's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. So, but I'm saying go take a picture of the mirror.
But the picture's going to be different than.
But not the mirror, because if this is how you look in person, what I'm saying, here's the test. Here's what I'm saying. Take the dress.
Oh, take a picture of the mirror there and the mirror home.
Yeah, go like take a picture of yourself in the mirror at home. Then go to TJ Maxx in the same dress. Just wear that dress. Go into TJ Maxx, take a picture of yourself in that dress in the mirror. Take a picture of the mirror.
Deal.
Then you can side by side comparison the two pictures.
Yeah.
And if you like literally put them side by side and you're like, it really is thinner.
Okay.
You know, if you're holding the camera at the same spot and you're staying in the same position, now you can't go and like pose in one and then not in the other.
Or
all right, y'all can. That's our last conspiracy we'll give you guys for the day. You can chime in.
Because we could go on and on and on and on and on and on, but we have got to end it there. We have a huge barbecue that we're planning, and so we just need to get it done. And we have a lot.
Somewhere we have to edit this video. I still have to write a sermon. And we're supposed to work out somewhere in all of that.
Yes, but let me tell you, like he wasn't able to write his sermon this week because we were on vacation, so he wrote it on Saturday. Best sermon ever preached. Like
from me or ever?
From ever.
Oh,
and from you. Like he is the best of the best of the best. There's nobody that tops
Paul
him.
and the Apostle Peter probably had better sermons. She said,
"You're right up there with them." Jesus is the only one that tops him.
Did you see that like fuzzy thing come off?
It's coming off your sweater.
Yeah.
But Jesus is the only one that tops him. But let me just say,
a lot of people
disagree. But let me just say,
very sweet.
Y'all have got to watch his sermon from this past week. Amazing. You guys, I am so blessed to be the wife of like seriously the most passionate, anointed, Jesus loving, Bible loving man on this earth right now.
I appreciate that very much. Very sweet.
That's true though.
Okay. We love that y'all came along with us through this conspiracy theory episode. And I hope that y'all were chiming in on some of your own. Too. Like, listen, I hope if you made it this far, and plenty of you tell me that you've watched every episode all the way through.
And you've even told us we don't fast forward to the end.
Yeah. Like literally lots of you. So I'm taking at your word on that. But I want to say this. Here's what I want to say. Like, don't get too heavy on these things. Like,
yeah. Like, and I see flat earthers, I can see them getting upset with us. Please don't stop liking us and stuff because of it. Like,
don't hate us.
don't hate us. Like, listen, I have people that get angry with me because I do not believe in the moon landing.
Yeah.
Our own son being one of them. Like, he literally legit gets like angry and heated. Like,
I don't think he gets angry, but there's a passion to the thing. And I think for a lot of people, I get it, especially when we talk about like the kind of challenge of faith. But you have to understand, like I'm being challenged on a monthly basis.
Absolutely.
That like this should be an element of my faith.
Yes.
And I contend that Christ is the only element of my faith. If I can get everything else wrong, and if I get that right, I got everything right.
That's right.
And so, I say that to say this, like the whole point of today's episode is to be lighthearted and to be fun and to, be self-aware. And I recognize, my Mandela effects are kooky. I love them.
And even if, certain people still believe in the moon landing after seeing tinfoil. You're just going to be lighthearted.
You got to zoom in on that. I am. I'm not the one trying to leave that.
I know. I'm saying to me, you need to be lighthearted. Yes. I know it can just be like, why? Why do you still believe that? Yeah. But this is fun.
Yeah, it is. And
I will nowhere in the Bible do we have to.
Of our family, like it has been a fun element to, it's been fun for me. Like my late wife, she loved space. She loved the moon landing. She loved.
That's where Elijah gets it from.
Yeah, I mean, she just loved that stuff. And so this conversation never happened with us about like the moon landing. It was all like stuff that's in my head that I see, but I'm like, I don't know. I never challenged it or thought to challenge it or whatever. And so it's been fun and energizing to me to like have these conversations with you about the moon landing, and you're so passionate about that we didn't land on the moon, and it forces me to answer questions that I probably wouldn't have thought about otherwise. So
and my late husband he's the same. He did not believe in the moon landing, but he was starting to question flat earth. You know, he would start saying things like, oh, when the Lord rolls up the earth like a scroll, and he's like, how can you do that if it's not a flat earth? And I'm like, it's not a flat earth.
Yeah.
But he wasn't sold on it. He wasn't like, I'm a flat earther, but he was definitely starting to.
Well, but again, there's like a poetic language there, because is the Lord going to roll be honest with yourself. He says he judged the world once with water.
Yep.
He says he's going to judge the earth again, and he tells us how he's going to do that.
Yep.
And so when he was being specific about how he's going to do that, when we see in prophecy, how is he going to do that? With fire. That he judged the earth once with water, he's going to judge it the second time by fire.
Yep.
That the whole earth is going to burn up, the heavens and earth are going to burn up with a fervent heat. But then the Lord goes on to say that he's not slack concerning his promise towards us, that he's not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. And so, yes, there is judgment, and yes, that judgment is coming from the Lord. Is he going to roll it up, or is he going to burn it up?
Yeah.
And so if we know that he's going to burn it up, then the roll part is poetic language.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing. You know, you are dealing with almost all of those flat earth Bible verses that are being handed are always coming out to be like, that is poetic language. And how do I know that it's poetic language? I just look at the context.
Yeah.
And so, you read a narrative or you read history differently than you read a prophecy, differently than you read poetry.
Yeah.
So, you have to accept the poetry part. If we're going to go by that, Jesus says he comes as a thief in the night. Is he really going to come as a thief? Is he really going to break into your house?
Right.
No, it's poetic language. He says, if your right eye causes you to offend, pluck it out. Does he really want people like one-eyed Christians running around or no-eyed Christians running around? No. Like he doesn't want us to mutilate ourselves. It's hyperbole.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point. It's a shock value to get you to understand. And that's what those Bible verses are. But kind of trail back. Kind of circle back there. Anyways.
If there's the one we missed, if there's like a big one.
Oh, there's more. There's so many more conspiracies.
And let us know if you believe in the moon landing.
Yeah, you can let us know. Actually, I would love to know it. Just go down the list. Mandela effects, moon landing, flat earth.
Yes.
Where do you land on the spectrum?
And the mirrors. Let me know if you experience the same thing with the mirrors.
And Kelly's mirrors. Yeah. Actually, I really genuinely would want to know, put some laughy faces on there so we know that you're, you're self-aware and you're not really coming at us. It's hard to read in text sometimes, but
yes.
All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Happy chaos. We're coming at you next week. What's next week?
That's to be determined.
I don't even know. I don't think I have a plan for next week. Well, it's a little up in there. Then if you want something,
we're in the top 3%. So what does it matter?
I thought it was
1%. 1%.
All right, guys. See
1%.
7. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
See y'all.